I think it's very important to have goals. I think even if it's, I want to lose 10 pounds or I want to lose a little bit of belly fat, or even if they're really small goals, I think it is definitely very, very important to have something to work towards.
Okay, well, I'm on here with Ashley Thompson, and welcome to the Carla Rand Show, Ashley. Thanks for being here.
Happy to be here.
So, Ashley, you are the owner of the Golden Gains Gym, which is the brand new gym here in Edson.
Yes.
And we chatted even before you opened the gym, and we kind of talked about, like what are some options and like, could we sort of work together a little bit? And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, I was interested, but I wasn't sure. And then the opportunity came, and now I'm in your gym, and I absolutely love the gym. I love the atmosphere. I love the people. I love you. And I'm just like, this is amazing. I absolutely love it. So I wanted to get you on. And so we decided that we would have this podcast interview to kind of hear more about like who you are and then like why you started the gym and your kind of whole journey. So let's start with who you are. Where did you grow up? Let's start there.
So I was born in Vermilion. We lived there till I was probably 4 or 5, and then moved to Edson. So I grew up here. I was here from the time I was very young till about 18 when I moved away again on my own.
That's me too. I was born and raised here.
Yeah.
So Edson is my hometown. It is basically then your hometown. Like you feel like this is your, right?
Yeah.
Your hometown.
Yes.
So you were 18 and then you moved away. So tell us a little bit about like, just when you were young, like what were you like? Were you good at school? Were you not good at school? You were an active kid. Were you like, what was that like?
I think I was okay in school through elementary, kind of took a dive going into junior high. But growing up, we were outside all the time.
That's just what you did.
Yeah. Like we didn't play in the house much. We weren't a big TV family. It was, you go outside, you play, and when it's dark, you come home.
That was us too. Well, we grew up on the farm. So it was like you go out, you play, you do your chores. And if the weather is decent, you're probably going to spend most of your day outside.
Yes.
Yeah. In the winter, okay, maybe then there's more stuff in the house, but mostly it was just out. Yeah, maybe
sometimes.
Not. Depending on how cold it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us, do you have any siblings, like family stuff?
Yeah, so I've got a younger sister and a younger brother, and I've got an older stepbrother.
Okay. So Ashley, how did you get into fitness then? So it sounds like you had an active childhood. When did you start kind of working out and why?
I started working out probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
It kind of started just looking to lose a little bit of weight and get healthy and more active. And it evolved into me looking to help other people in the same situation that I was in. So I got my personal training certificate, as well as my nutrition coaching. I specialized in strength and conditioning, and just kind of evolved into, I don't want to work for anybody else anymore. And now I have a gym.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of you for what you've done with that gym. Like, I'm just like, this is not like a little willy-nilly thing. This is a big undertaking.
Yes.
Was it, so when you decide, okay, I'm going to open my gym, like, was it exactly how you thought it was going to be? Was it a lot harder than you thought? Did it take longer than you thought? Like, tell us a bit about the process.
So it did. I quit my job February 28th of 2021, thinking that things were going to move a lot quicker than they actually did. So I started renovations in the building about second week of March, and renovations went quite quickly for the most part. I did hire contractors to do a few things. Like I had some people come in to do some plumbing for the showers, some framing for the walls, but I did like the flooring, the painting, like 99% of what you see, I did myself.
I know, because I would come in to see you and you'd be like, oh, just a sec. I just got to, you'd be painting or you'd be doing something. I'm like, wow, like, is there anything that she can't do?
There was things I couldn't do, and there's things that I wasn't very good at, but I struggled my way through it.
Yeah.
It took me a few months to get through the renovations, which I expected. And during that whole time, I was also learning a new software program. So trying to learn the gym software and having Zoom meetings and trying to deal with that. And then also trying to get my equipment ordered, which I think was the biggest struggle of the whole thing, was getting actually getting the equipment into the gym.
So was it because it took so long for it to come in, or because it was just heavy and hard to move, or both? Or
because it took so long to come in. There was such a shortage. All the COVID stuff really put a damper on commercial fitness equipment. Everything being shipped in, everything comes from overseas. Like it's doesn't matter what brand you get. It doesn't matter how high quality or low quality, or it all comes from the same place. And I found it took months and months and months to get equipment. First company I dealt with, they were 3 weeks over, and every 3 weeks they would tell me 3 weeks. So and then I actually found another company. I got sick of dealing with them. I just said enough. Like, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm moving.
Stop
on.
stringing me along.
Yeah, this is the end of our business relationship. I do not want your equipment anymore.
Right.
And I actually found Huge Life Canada out of Calgary, and they were fantastic. Right from the first conversation on the phone, and had me stuff within 4 weeks set up in my gym, enough that I could open, which was huge. So I think I started dealing with them in at the beginning of September, and by the beginning of October, they had equipment in my gym. So I have built quite a relationship with them. I'm very happy with them.
Which is good, because if you need maintenance or you need more equipment or whatever, then you know where to go and
exactly
deal with. And that's pretty big, because that's a big part of your business, is having good equipment that's available and in workable order.
Exactly. Exactly.
So what's your favorite thing about fitness? Like, what's your favorite type of workouts? Like, some people like to run, some people like to lift, some people like to do CrossFit, some people like to do, I don't know, whatever they like to do. What's your thing?
I've done a little bit of everything. I think I started out really into CrossFit. I absolutely loved it. It helped me build endurance, strength. Like, it's intense. It's very intense. Like, it was fun. I ended up competing. I was kind of middle of the road. I wasn't spectacular at it or anything, but did a few competitions, and then decided I wanted to transition into powerlifting. So I started lifting heavier and really pushing myself, and then stupidly broke my leg. So I was off for a while.
So, okay. So how long have you been like, okay, my leg's good now and I can get back at it? A year? So that happened September 2019, and it was June 2020, I think, was my first time back in a gym. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so then you probably had to do a lot of rehab, to get that movement back, the mobility.
Well, I'm still doing it. Like, I screwed up the tendons and ligaments really bad. Like I don't know how many times I've rolled my ankle since, and I never, ever had issues with my ankles before. So that sucks. I have to be very, very careful with it.
Same thing happened to me, actually, but it wasn't nearly as bad of a break as what you did. But I was going up for rebound in basketball when I was in I think I was 19 or something. So I was in college, and I came down on somebody's foot and my ankle rolled over and it was fractured, but I didn't know it was fractured. And it was super sore, but they're like, well, we did an x-ray. It looks like it's okay. So, in about a week, start trying to put weight on it. I'm like, I can't put weight. Like, it's killing me. What is going on? And then they call me like, oh, we look closer. It's actually, fractured. You better come in and get a cast on it. I'm like, oh, so but since then too, constantly rolling that ankle, because the tendons, it's like the ligaments get hyper stretched.
Yes. And they don't heal properly.
Yeah.
Like, they never really,
they don't hold it where it needs
back
to be.
To that tightness that they had.
Yes. And some of them, I think, even like how I've heard it described, and I don't know how accurate this is for sure, but it's almost like there might be so if this is your tendon, there might actually be a few that aren't even working proper. So maybe instead of having let's say 4 points of contact with these nice tight tendons, maybe you only have 3 or 2, right? So I think that's sort of the problem. Okay, so now what's your goal? What are your fitness goals right now? Because you've done CrossFit, you've done powerlifting. What do you want to do now?
Honestly, right now, I'm trying to get a workout in every day.
Okay.
That is my goal right now. But eventually I would like to get into bodybuilding competitions. I just want to do one for now, but that's kind of my long-term fitness goal at this point. I want to do a figure or wellness, and just see what it's like. Different experience, something different to work towards for my personal body goals, and just see what happens.
How important do you think it is to have those kinds of goals? as opposed to just showing up at the gym and just like, oh, I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, or I feel like doing this today. How important is it to have like, I'm training for this and therefore I'm going to work towards that?
I think it's very important to have goals. I think even if it's, I want to lose 10 pounds or I want to lose a little bit of belly fat, or even if they're really small goals, I think it is definitely very, very important to have something to work towards.
Because then if you know what you're trying to achieve, then you know how to get there.
Yes. And like, you can make a plan, and then you're not walking in lost and going, oh, okay, I'll just go on the treadmill for 20 minutes and then I'm done. Or going to lift a few weights and you kind of wander around the gym and not know what you're going to do. It's maybe good to get out of the house and do that, but should have something to work towards, I think.
So if somebody's just wanting to get started, okay, so maybe they've never even been to a gym or they haven't been for a really long time, what's the best way for them to just kind of get started? Because I know when I talk to people, a lot of people are intimidated. Yes. They're like, if I go to the gym, there's going to be all those gym rats in there. They're all like beefy, those big meatheads, and they're going to make me look bad and they're going to, judge me and I'm going to feel embarrassed and I'm going to just be fumbling around. And I'm totally embarrassed. I don't want to go in there. I'm totally intimidated.
So those big beefy gym rats are probably the nicest people in the world. And if they see you struggling, they will help you. Like that's what I have found within my gym anyways. Like it's
people in your gym are amazing. I don't know. Not that I've been in a lot of gyms, but like I basically everybody I see, I try to say hi to and talk to them, and they're super nice. Like, yes. And some people like they might look intimidating because they're like totally jacked, and you're like, whoa, but they're just like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And like, if you have a question, they'll help you, they're just super friendly, like you say.
Yes. And that's what I found. Like even in gyms I've been in previously, I didn't feel an atmosphere like that. Like I don't know what I've done differently to create that and attract the people that I have, but I feel like I have like a little neighborhood of people that everybody helps each other, and like it's nice. It's really nice.
It is nice. And it's fun to kind of see people coming in and then all of a sudden like they're working out together or they're chatting or whatever. And it's like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, because it is partly a social thing too, right?
Yes.
Like you go out there, you're going to see a few people.
Yep.
And the thing that I love about the gym, okay, because I haven't really been in like a gym situation like that. Usually I'd work out like in a hall or I'd work out like in a gymnasium, where I just have a big space. The thing is you have people coming and going all the time. So you watch one person and there they are working out and you're like, that's really interesting. Yeah. What are they training for? So you go and you ask them and they're like, oh, I've done this, I've done that. And so maybe they're doing more like calisthenics and they're doing like pull-ups and they're doing lots of body weight stuff. Yeah. Then you talk to somebody else and they're using all the machines and they're just like lifting really heavy, right? And what are you training for? And what do you like to do? And why do you do it this way? Because there's a ton of different ways to work out. And I think that's why it's nice, like in your gym, how you have so many options. Like you have things that you can do, like, pull-up bars, and you have like those dip bars and all this, but then you also have like all the big machines, right? Yeah. So there's a ton of options. And of course the cardio equipment and whatever, right?
Yep.
So if somebody's starting then and they're intimidated, number one, don't be afraid of the other people because they're probably not as intimidating as they look.
Yes.
And then what would be something else?
Come and talk to me. I'm there 99% of the time. Come and have a conversation. I can help guide you in the right direction. I will show you how to use the equipment. We also have an app with the gym that I can get you hooked up on. It's got workouts on it. You can track your nutrition. Like it's try and simplify it for the beginner for sure.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people come in and, so like if I'm working with someone, the first thing I want to focus on is their form.
Yes.
And you're probably the same, right? It's like, okay, let's get that form dialed in. Because once that form's dialed in, then you can keep lifting heavier and you can progress. But if your form isn't good, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yes.
So when you're working, like when you're training people, what do you like about that? Like what type of training do you like to do? Or like what's kind of what do you focus on, I guess, with your personal training?
It depends on the person and what their goals are. But I guess my favorite is pushing people out of their comfort zone.
I like that too. Come see us.
Right. You think you can do 15 pounds? We're going to do 20 today. Like,
right.
Just that little bit extra gives them a confidence boost. It's good for your mental health, your physical health. Like it's just that little
And it's not like
a little bit extra.
It's not like I don't know anything about you, so I'm going to make you lift heavy. It's like we've worked together for a little while right now.
Yep.
I can tell that this is not that hard for you. You're not, it's not. So I'm going to challenge you a little bit. And if you can only do 1 rep and then we drop it back down, fine, right?
Exactly.
But let's just see. I know that's what I did today too. There was one of the gals, she was doing the biceps, and I was like, I think you can go heavier. I'm going to get a different plate, So I got the heavier plate, and she was like totally busted out, totally fine. But like, if you don't sometimes increase it, you're kind of wasting your time.
Yes.
Because you're
going through the motions.
You're going through the motions, but especially if you want to build, right? Yeah. Okay, I have a question for you. A lot of women, and I mean, I haven't answered this, but I'm curious what your answer to. A lot of women are worried they're going to get too bulky. They don't want to look bulky. So they want to come and they want to look lean and toned, but not bulky. So do you face that? Have you had people come and tell you that kind of stuff or not so much?
It's a pretty big misconception for sure. It's really hard as a woman to get bulky. Like you have to eat 5,000-6,000 calories a day and lift really, really heavy weights in order to be
and lots of protein.
Bulky. Yes, like huge amounts of protein. So I don't deal with it much.
You just kind of say, yeah, because that's sometimes people women, they're worried about that. And I feel the same way. It's like, it's going to take a lot for you to get bulky.
Yes.
And essentially, if you want to have that toned, that lean look, you just need to lose fat.
Yes.
Right? You build muscle, you lose fat, boom, there you go.
It's working out and eating in a deficit.
Right.
In a calorie deficit. Like that's how you're going to get that lean toned look. Yeah.
So tell me, so you have goals for your workouts. What is kind of your goal for the gym? Like, do you have, like, where do you want to go with it?
Constant expansion. I want to make it better. I want to make it bigger. Eventually move into the other side of the building. I'll have a tanning beds, massage therapist. I'll have a big open floor space for Carla and her classes. Once it's expanded and see how people like it, what people don't like. If I can spread the brand to other towns and try and build more communities like I have here, I would love to be able to do that.
Mm. Yeah. And I think it's funny, like with my classes, because I'm used to teaching in a big space, like just a big box. So now I'm in the gym and it's not as much space, but there's so many cool, like so much equipment. So you got like the pulley machine, you got the kettlebells, you got the benches, you got like the cardio equipment, and it's like really cool. And so what I'm actually noticing is that my clients and we're getting stronger.
Yes.
Like we're all getting stronger because you're able to isolate those muscles more. Yep. Plus with COVID, what was happening is people were having to haul their weights. And so who wants to haul like 20-pound dumbbells, right?
So everybody's sticking with
They're kind of sticking with the light. So they're not really progressing. So now like watching them progressing and watching them getting stronger, that's
awesome.
Yeah. And so that's what I've really noticed being in there and just having access to so many different like pieces of equipment. Yeah. And then like being creative, right? Like how to use medicine balls and how to use these and that. Yes. And then you even have like, the kind of the body bars, right? And like what you can do with those and how you can increase mobility, or you can use it for stretching, or you can use it for like just strength, right? And I feel like always challenging your body in different ways so that you don't plateau, so that it doesn't start to just get flat and like you don't progress.
Exactly.
Right? So what do you do? Like, so if somebody's, maybe they've been working out for a while and they are starting to plateau, what would you tell them? What should they do?
Switch up their routine. Play with your nutrition a little bit, and definitely switch up your routine, because a lot of people get stuck in the same routine day after day, and they're doing the same workouts on every Monday and every Tuesday and every Wednesday. Change it up. Mm-hmm. Try something different, learn some new moves, and see if that helps.
And so let's talk about nutrition a bit. Like, so, we're both nutrition coaches as well. So what do you think is really important? Like if somebody, let's say they want to lose weight. Okay. So we talked already about a caloric deficit, right? Yep. So we want to be eating less than we're burning.
Yes.
Is that right? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes. So. Okay. So you want to be in a caloric deficit. What else is going to be important, particularly like for weight loss? What do they want to be focusing on?
Well, the more muscle you have on your body, the quicker you're going to burn fat. And that's, so I would say a combination of lifting heavy and cardio is going to be your your best friend when you're trying to lose weight.
Because what happens is when you build the muscle, it's metabolically active. So you become this little fat burning machine. And not everybody knows that.
Yes.
So a lot of people do cardio. So you're doing cardio and you're burning a lot of calories with your cardio. And you're like, oh, look, I burned 500 calories during this little run on the treadmill. Yay, that's great. Now I'm going to go home and do whatever. But you've only burned those 500 calories.
So those calories could have been used to build muscle, which in turn would have burned your fat. But instead, you just burned off the food that you just ate. So your muscles don't get that energy.
Right. So not that cardio is bad.
Oh, it's not bad.
But if all you're doing is cardio and you're trying to maintain your weight, you've got to have some of that lean muscle mass, because that in itself will, it'll be burning calories throughout the day just to maintain that, right?
Yes.
And I think that's the thing. It's like, okay, you burned 500 calories. Well, that's great. But you could have, maybe burned 100 or 200 calories on the treadmill and then burned another whatever, working out, and then burned another 200, 300 just throughout the day.
Yes.
Just by sitting there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what about nutrition then? What do you kind of like when you're working with clients, what do you find is the most effective for them? What do they need to focus on?
I would say weigh your food and track it. Like, that is, get in a habit of doing it. And that'll be, if you can make that habit, it'll be a lot easier to adjust what you're eating, when you're eating it. I think that would be the starting point. My one recommendation before you even look at trying to diet or count macros or anything, get in the habit of tracking what you eat.
And it's amazing how, because I do say the same thing, right? And some people don't like to track, so I'm willing to kind of work with them, and maybe they just, send me a screenshot of their notes, what they ate or whatever.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they'll send pictures of their food or however, but most of the time it's like, if you don't track your food, how can I really help you?
Yes.
So if you want me to help you, then if I can see exactly what you're eating, then I know exactly what we need to change.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're like, I keep gaining weight. I don't know why. But what are you eating? Well, it's kind of, it's like, no, we need to know exactly what you're eating.
Yeah.
Right. And not that you have to track like a crazy person for the rest of your life. But when you're trying to dial things in, you really need to track. You need to know. But everybody's different too. Because I'm not a tracker. Okay.
I struggle with it too.
Yeah. It's like,
I try.
I just watch paint dry. This is so boring, And I don't, it's just but I feel like, when I really want to dial things in, I have to track.
Yeah.
But do you find too that once you've been tracking for a while, it's almost like you just know. You don't have to track because you're like, okay, I just ate this. That's probably about 500 calories. It's probably 90 grams of protein. You just start to know.
Yes.
But you don't know that until you track.
Well, and I found, so I did that. I tracked for a long time, and then I figured I knew what I was eating, and I pretty much eat the same thing day in and day out. My diet doesn't, it's not very
exciting.
No.
Yeah.
So I started tracking it again because I had added a little bit more protein and a few things to it. I was way off.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of had to
dial that
get
back
myself dialed in and start tracking again. And
yeah. And I think it's good to do the macros, because then it's your proteins, your carbs, your fats. Why are macros important? Why can't you just eat, why can't you just go by calories? Oh, I'm going to eat 1,500 calories, boom. And you don't worry about how much protein, carbs, and fats.
Because you could be eating straight sugar in that 1,500 calories. If you track your macros, then you can kind of see what you're getting for your protein, carbs, and fats. And it's definitely a good idea to try and balance them, depending on your goals.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think? Okay. If somebody's say they're coming to you and they're saying, okay, Ashley, I want to lose weight. Maybe they want to lose, let's say 15 pounds. I want to get leaner, stronger, have more energy, more endurance. What would you tell them? What's the type of workouts that they should do? Or what should their workout look like, would you say?
I would say do 2 push days a week, do 2 pull days a week, and a leg day, and do a little bit of cardio after every workout.
So kind of balance it. So that, the push would be what, more like chest?
Yeah. So
biceps.
Yeah. Things that you're kind of pushing away from your body. So,
right.
And then your pull would be
back.
Things that you're pulling into your body.
Right. And there's so many ways to structure it, right?
Yeah.
For me, I really like working chest and back together, but you can also work back and biceps, or, chest and triceps, or there's so many ways to switch it up.
There is. And you can do chest and back together. There's no perfect formula for lifting. Like it's,
Yeah.
and you got to find something you enjoy too. Like you can't, if you don't like doing back and biceps together, but you like doing chest and tricep or chest and back together, do chest and back. Like it's, you got to enjoy what you're doing.
And then I think it's important to look and say, okay, am I progressing?
Yes.
Am I able to lift heavier? Am I hitting my goals?
Yeah.
Like, am I looking the way I want to look? Am I feeling the way I want to feel? Am I able to train for whatever that goal is? And see, and I think so. Personally, I think it's important to have some weight loss goals too. But I also think if you just have weight loss goals, sometimes it can become unmotivating. But if you also have a training goal, then even if maybe the scale's not moving for a week or two or something's going on or whatever, at least you're like, oh, I can do a pull-up now, like maybe an assisted pull-up.
Yes.
Or I can lift heavier, or I can run faster or farther, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always have those little accomplishments to look forward to on the road.
So any closing words, Ashley, anything else that we should know about either you or your gym or training in general or nutrition? I mean, I'm throwing it all at you, but
yeah, that's a lot. Don't be afraid to try it. Whether you're brand new or getting back into it, like come see me or come see you, and just come for a chat, come check out the gym, see what we do.
And it's fun too, because like you and I, we talk a lot, right?
Yeah.
So we'll talk about fitness, or you'll be asking me questions about like, training like this, or and then I'll be saying, well, what do you do here? And what do you do there? And I think for you, you like maybe more heavy. I'm trying to get, and I like to lift heavy too. I want to get very strong, but for me, I'm all about like pull-ups and like body stuff that I can move around, right?
But so you need the strength to do that, right? Like that's
it's quite but I mean, for you want to lift really heavy. I don't necessarily want to be able to squat like, 500 pounds or something. Like, to me, that's less important. Yeah. But I want to be able to like pull myself up on a rope or I don't know, like do dips and like throw my body up, or you know what I mean? Like do kind of crazy fun things, and be like, agility is really important to me. Yeah. I love to just be able to like, move really smooth. And I think as I get older, right? Like it's going to get harder to do that. So I better be on top of it.
You got to maintain the whole time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But anyways, I want to celebrate you, like who you are and how you are so kind to people and how you're so welcoming to people, like to me, but also everybody that comes in, you greet them like, hey, you say their name, and you also make really awesome shakes too. And so I've been eating quite a few shakes. I don't normally eat them, but like you make them so good, and it's like so easy because I'm done my workout. I'm like, Ashley, can you make me a shake? Yeah. Boom, it's done, right? I don't have to. It's
great post-workout drink.
Totally.
You get your protein, a little bit of carbs, a little bit of fats,
and it tastes good.
Yes, they're really good.
You get one that has some coffee in it. You get the peanut butter one. You can get berry ones, whatever you want. So I think it's like, there's everything there. And I think like between my classes, because I do like more group training, and then your like personal training, and then just the option of having the gym, whether you work with somebody or you work on your own and maybe you have your own plan, or you get you or me to make a plan, right? I think it's like, it's just a fun place to be. And I think everybody should at least try the gym once. Like if you've never been to the gym, just go to the gym at least once.
Yes.
Yes. And even if you don't book like a session to train, just ask you or me if we're there, and just say, hey, show me how to use this machine. Show me, like we could show you.
Yes.
Right? Like how many times do you go and somebody needs help with their form, right?
All the time. And even if I notice something, I'll go and do a couple sets with somebody just to show them the proper way to do it. Like if their form's way off, and I've done it a couple times and nobody seems to get offended. So that's a good thing.
Well, most people, they want to do it right. Yeah. They don't want to get hurt. Yeah. So they're usually pretty happy.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, there's always a way to do it too. It's not like, hey, step
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. What are you doing? Yeah. Oh, exactly. No, it's fun. I enjoy it. And I think it's like, it's a really nice atmosphere. There's always music playing. There's, things going on. But it's also, there's times too, like depending on when you go, where there's not a ton of people. So if you want to have a little more space, there's different, like you could just ask you, right? Like, hey, when are there fewer people in there if you want to do more your own thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Because there's times that it's super busy, and then there's times when it's really quiet. So
when is it the busiest?
Supper time. So between 6 and 8:30 is usually when it's the busiest.
So if you want to have a ton of people around you and you love that, and you get like, then you should go in the evening. Yeah. If you want to have a little more space, a little more your own thing, maybe go like afternoon.
After 10 o'clock.
Yes.
When Carla's done.
When I'm done jumping around and screaming. Yeah. Or you can just come and watch us too. It's quite entertaining.
It is entertaining.
You get to hear us like yelling and hooting and hollering.
Yes.
And yeah. Cool. Well, thanks, Ashley. Thanks for sharing. And thank you for opening up the Golden Gains Gym. If somebody does want to get a hold of you, do you have an email or something that you want to just mention?
Ashley@goldengains.ca, or give the gym a call, 780-725-5654.
Cool. Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning into the podcast today. I absolutely love that you joined us. I love being able to record these, and I love our guests. It's been so much fun. So thank you. Please like it, share it, comment, do all of the things that you feel like you want to do if you enjoyed this podcast. I really, really appreciate that. And this podcast has been brought to you by my company, Power Fitness Online. So everything that we do locally with our workouts, with our group nutrition coaching, and with all of the other fun events and stuff that we run, we put all of that online. So now you can access everything, even if you're not locally, don't live in our area. So my coaches and I and all my staff, the whole team, we are putting so much work into these workouts. We're filming 5 fresh workouts every single week so that you never have to do the same workout twice. We're also doing group nutrition and personal nutrition coaching so that you get exactly what you need. And you know what the best part is? It's the community. The absolute best part is just knowing that you have the support, that you have the encouragement, that you have everything you need to succeed. So go to powerfitnessonline.com.